Hello stamping friends, I'm Karina with karinascreations.com and I want to show you how to color this beautiful flower using our new blendability markers and how to quickly make this fancy fold card. Isn't that fold neat inside? I know this video does not do it justice, but you will get the idea. Okay, so step one with this card is you need to start with a perfect plum card base. So I have cut it at 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches and scored it at 4.25 inches. Now the next thing I need to do is pull out my Big Shot machine. And I'm doing it this way because I'm right-handed. And I am going to pull out my square framelit dies, and I'm using the 4th largest framelit. And I just want to cut a square out of the center panel of the card. So it looks like this. And I'm just centering it. Hopefully it won't move on me. That's why you use a magnetic base. And I'll roll that through the Big Shot. The next step is to use the Modern Mosaic embossing folder to emboss the front of the card, but I forgot that downstairs, so I'm not going to show you that part. We'll just pretend that I did it. So that's what it looks like when it's done. I'm going to show you how to create the center of the card now. So you start with a piece of cardstock that is 5 inches by 7.75 inches long, and you need to score it at 2 inches, 4 inches, and 6 inches. And then what that creates is one of these panels will be a little bit smaller than the rest. I believe it's 1.75 inch by 5 inches. So the smaller panel side, you need to turn it and take your 4th largest framelit, and it's important to get the cutting groove of the framelit to line up with the score line you created. And you're just centering the framelit on your panel, and then you put your second plastic cutting pad on the Big Shot, and then you just send it through. And then what you get is an inside piece that looks like this, with these little flaps. And then that is how the inside is going to go. And I'll show you how I assemble it right now. Move this to the side. Okay, so now I have my inside piece. And I'm using a new product called Fast Fuse. When you use Fast Fuse, to get the tape to cut, you have to pull it down and drag it to the left. And flick it. And there we go, I'll do it again. And sometimes if I didn't flick it right, then you just roll it up a bit and then drag it down and give it a left flick. And then I'm folding the tabs downwards and I'm lining it up on the inside of my card, and I'll show you about where you have to get these two to line up so the openings line up, and you'll put it together right about here. So the score line is here, and so what would that be? Not 1/4 inch, maybe 1/8 inch. And don't do it crooked. I'll put mine right about here. Okay, so I would say about 1/8 inch away from the score line. And then what you do is fold it like this. Put your Fast Fuse on the back of your cardstock. Again, flick it to the left. And then all you do is close up your card. And that's it. Easy peasy, your card is pretty much done. Now to decorate the card, what I did is I pre-stamped some flower images. And I have used the Bloom with Hope stamp set. It's a hostess stamp set. So you have to have a demo number and spend $200 to choose this, or you can host your own private party or a private class. So I'm using the new blendability markers, and they come in 3 shades. So I'm using Raspberry Ripple, and they come in a light, a medium, and a dark. I like to color dark to light, but you can also color light to dark. It goes by preference. I've started my flower already. And I should mention that the white panel is 2 by 5/8 inch by 2 by 5/8 inch, and then the old olive layer is 2 by 7/8 inch and 2 by 7/8 inch. Now it's important when you cut your old olive piece that it fits through your window you created. Sometimes you have to give it a little trim. Okay, I'll just show you quickly how I'm coloring my flower. Okay. Now, like I said, I'm starting with the dark color first. I'm using my brush tip. And I'm just going to go actually in the shaded area of this flower. And I'll set that aside. And the nice thing about blendabilities is that you actually blend the color together. So now what I'm doing is going into the darker shade that I just used, and I'm pulling it out. I'm actually going over top of it, blending it together. If I just color beside it, you're going to have a line. So you actually go up into the darker color and pull it out. And then I will use my lightest color, color the inside, and then again, I colored my flower, but now I'm going back into the medium shade I just used and blending it out. And that's why they're called blendabilities. It's all about going over and over the image to blend out the color. When you're using blendabilities, make sure you have paper underneath your cardstock that you're coloring, because the color will bleed through the back a little bit. And then I'll finish this one that I did up here. I love these. These are fabulous markers, and it's so fun to play with. I'm not great at coloring, but I can do blendabilities. And then what I would do is take the old olive color shades and then color the stems. But I left that downstairs. Now, another important tip with blendabilities is it's important to always store your markers flat. You cannot store them upright in a container, or all the color, one side will be dry, one side will be juicy. So store them flat, and then when you go to close up your blendability, make sure that you lay your marker down like this and feed the tip into the marker cap. Press it against your table and give it a nice snap. And that is pretty much it. Now the only thing I need to do to finish off my card is put some more fast fuse here. And I love fast fuse because you get more adhesive than you do with snail. And it's a really good, sticky, strong product. I love it. So my fast fuse is on here. And then I just line up my flower that I just colored on the inside of the card. And that is it. Easy, easy. Easy peasy. And then on my finished card sample, what I did was add some old olive cardstock, and I'll put all the dimensions on my blog for you. And then I just added a little bit of old olive ribbon and some rhinestones. And you can also color your rhinestones with blendabilities too. Anyway, I hope you'll try make one of these cards. Happy stamping!